Yeah. It'll take a second to fire up.
What? No, there's no sound.
No.
Who's being filmed?
Goose.
Somebody go photobombing that. You just need to push the PCs on over there.
There we go.
So we have a PowerPoint for you, and then you guys already have the handouts.
You do?
Yeah, get one.
Here's yours.
Oh, thanks, Honda.
You don't make airplanes out of these ones, though.
You can if you really want to, but I think you really want.
This is part of our 10 minutes.
No. And it's not gonna count for Goose either, because he's being filmed and there's not much going on.
Let's pause it.
I'd probably pause it.
Alrighty. So we are doing our topic on where to go.
There we go.
Now
Freaking me out.
And then it's me, Robert, and Honda. What is it? It is an instructional strategy that involves teachers providing students with information and then guiding them to an understanding of concepts and generalizations. Why should we use it? The logic behind guided discovery is simple. If we want to develop our students' thinking skill, they need to practice thinking, so you interact with them a little more. You want to, I don't know what you want to go ahead. Why is it important? This strategy differs from formed, pure, or unstructured discovery, where learners identify patterns and relationships on their own with little guidance from their teacher. Unstructured discovery is less effective. Without help, students often become lost and frustrated. This confusion can lead to misconceptions and wasted time. As a result, unstructured discovery is rarely seen in today's classrooms, except in student projects and investigations, where students work on their own. Strengths versus
Okay.
weaknesses.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm covering the strengths versus weaknesses. I mean, number one, it's going to promote critical thinking. It's going to make the students think for themselves. Because in the real world, there ain't no one there going to tell them the answer. So it doesn't grow as a thinker. It also promotes learning. You know, children are going to, students are going to retain more if they think for themselves. Because if they have to think, they have to use every part of their brain, not just the memorization and regurgitation crap. It increases participation in your class. Everyone in here will participate. It's not so good in a super large 300 person class, for instance, because everyone's not going to participate. But in a normal size, a good classroom size, you get participation. And there's less lecturing from the teacher. You don't fall asleep. It's not this, but earlier we brought up with your whole sitting there and falling asleep and going over. And it increases students' motivation. And to me, the key thing is it's really intrinsically rewarding for both the student and the teacher. Because the student, when they think for themselves and realize that they know the answer, they're going to feel a little bit rewarded from that. And the teacher themselves is also going to feel rewarded when they see that you actually know what they were trying to do.
All right, examples of guided learning have already been demonstrated so far when Andrea asked you questions about what you thought cooperative learning was. Again, guided learning is about asking your students questions. When they ask you a question, instead of giving them the answer, you just keep asking questions and let them guide themselves to find the answer. As it's been pointed out, it's best used in settings like experiment, when your kids are doing a science experiment or something like that. The cooperative learning that we utilize on Wednesdays is a prime example of guided learning. We have minimal instruction from Dr. Miller, who tells us this is the content we're covering, and then we do the discovery and learning what we need to learn and then teaching it to each other. So those are prime examples of guided learning, guided discovery.
All right, next up we have the weaknesses to this. The strategy is complex and demanding. Information giving roles often feel uncomfortable at first do, so if you're a first time teacher, this is not the way you would like to go. This explains why we don't see it practiced more often in schools. The complexity is both a strength and a weakness. If you're good at presenting it or giving it out, you can go deeper into a concept. But if you're not that good, you can only go so far in. It takes a lot of time and effort to get good at it. Students who are primarily using lecture as a teaching strategy might be initially uncomfortable with being guided rather than being told. So a lot of students nowadays are more used to being lectured to than to work with each other. Students will need help getting used to this method as well.
I think what you need to take a look at is, those weaknesses, it takes practice. But before you even get into kind of this guided discovery or any cooperative type of learning in that, you've got to establish, there's a need to establish that sense of a classroom community before you can do that.
As well as classroom management.
Yes. Yes.
Lots of practice.
It takes time. You'll learn. I mean, I've done it for so long, it's almost second nature to be able to break into groups and do this and do that. But I still have to make decisions on the fly as we go and watch the time and make sure. I mean, it takes work. It takes some work. I guess you guys are going to talk about examples of questioning, right?
Yep.
Okay.
On our handout, everything is just key terms. One example that we do have is the jigsaw, another co-op learning strategy we use in class. So, one example that was in the book that was interesting to me was a teacher brought animals, like
Lobsters, crabs.
Yeah. And with that, she started by saying, "How does your leg feel? Is it warm? Is it soft?" They had to describe how the leg felt, and then when she was like, "Well, feel the shell of this lobster," and then they're like, "Well, it's hard and cold," and then she's like, "This is what I forgot what the name of the animal."
Yeah. She uses questions to guide the students from distinguishing that their bone is inside their leg and it's soft and warm, and the lobster's skeleton is on the outside. She uses questions to guide the students.
Why they why this is an anthropod and you're not an anthropod because it has an exoskeleton and stuff. You don't have an exoskeleton.
Some people could be considered anthropologists.
All right, so we're going to finish up with our key points. So when you go about this teaching, you have to begin with a focusing event. You got to make sure that it's cut and clear to your students, because you don't want to be all over the place when you're giving out the instruction. Use questions extensively throughout to guide and involve students. Questions are key when you're working with guided discovery, because it's not so much about telling your students what they need to learn, it's about comprehending what you're telling them. And it's a lot more rewarding to a teacher getting feedback from their students and a response, rather than them just giving them a lecture. And then, like I said, have a form of clear closure and application. And then we're excited.
What do you mean by closure and application?
So make sure that when you're using this example to have a clean or a clear end, don't kind of wing it, and you don't want your kids ending up confused at the end, which is a lot of times what happens when you're a first time teacher. You go about this, kids kind of get confused in the mix, and you got to make sure that everybody ends on the same note.
What do you mean by application?
Application? Like if you were to give an example, but if you were to give a lecture, or if you had a topic as a teacher, and you're giving it out to your students, you want to make sure that you go step by step with them, and if they're giving you feedback that you find incorrect, you gotta make sure you brush up on them and let them know what's going on exactly.
How did you think that application too would be being able to apply the material in real life situations?
Absolutely.
So how would that teacher with the exoskeletons and arthropods and that bring it to real life?
Well, I think by, her starting out with kids filling their leg and filling up their bones